ממון, sefer hamidos, the book of traits, the book of attributes, the aleph-based book, sefer hamidos, proper, straight ways to lead and act. ממון, letter nin, niv, promiscuity. sefer hamidos, chapter niv, promiscuity, letter nin. 1. One who entertains thoughts of a Gentile woman. Through this, his children will not be Torah students. 2. The fortune of a woman goes according to the fortune of the man, i.e., her husband, present or future. 2. The fortune of a woman goes according to the fortune of the man, the mazel, i.e., her husband, present or future. 3. Intercourse that takes place in a beautiful home draws a beautiful and proper appearance upon their children. 4. He who has relations with a non-Jewish woman is considered as if intermarried. 5. Perfumes inject desire in a man. 6. A daughter of a Kohen and a common Jewish man, or a daughter of a Torah scholar and an unlearned man, their match does not have fortune. Either she will be widowed or divorced or childless, or her husband will bury her, or she will bury him, or she will bring him to poverty and shame. 7. A promiscuous elderly man, people literally cognizance, cannot bear him, and eventually he becomes despised in his own eyes. 8. There are 7 that are like they have been excommunicated, and one of them is one that does not have a wife. 9. Sexual desire cannot be distanced from a man except through distancing the vision of the eye and thought. 10. Do not enter into negotiations with your temptations. For the elaboration of the sensations of the contemplator, even directed at negation, will effect reinforcement of the desire, and his will be overturned on him, in brackets, towards it. 11. Through wine, most promiscuity. 11 with the brackets, through wine comes about most promiscuity. 12. One without a wife is not a man, and is as if he spills blood, and diminishes the image. 13. One who detracts from his wife's time, and she suffers from this, is punished with death. 13 with the brackets. One who detracts from his wife's time, i.e., time and circumstances that the Torah allows for procreation, and she suffers from this, is punished with death. 14. Sometimes through marital matches whose partners are not suited to each other, one of them dies. 15. One who marries a wicked, divorced woman, she comes to bury him. 16. The licentiousness of the wife destroys the house. 17. Anyone who has immoral sex, through this their wives see in a dream impurities called morden. Anyone who has immoral sex, through this their wives see in a dream impurities called morden. 18. Anyone who marries a woman for the sake of heaven is as if he gave birth to her. 19. Through a marriage which is not holy comes fire. 20. Anyone to whom an opportunity to sin comes, and he refrains, a miracle is done for him. 21. One who marries a woman who is not appropriate for him is as if he plows the whole world and plants in it salt. And when God basks his divine presence, he testifies on behalf of all the tribes, but not on behalf of him. 22. One who breaches the covenant is as if he transgressed all the commandments. 22 with brackets. One who breaches the covenant, that is, one who commits sexual transgressions, is as if he transgressed all the commandments. 23. Pants atone for sexual immorality. 24. Through promiscuity the righteous fall. 25. Through lamenting the death of the righteous, one breaks himself from love of women. 26. Through spilling one's seed wastefully, one creates klipos, husks, evil forces that enclothe themselves in people who oppose him and antagonize him and cause him suffering. One creates, through spilling one's seed wastefully, one creates klipos that enclothe themselves in people who oppose him and antagonize him and cause him suffering. 27. One who has relations with a married woman, in the end, comes to spill blood, i.e. murder. 28. One who eradicates sexual transgressors, with this he rectifies the sins of his forefathers. 29. One who wants to guard his sexual purity, literally the sign of the covenant, should always say the truth, and also should do kindness to one from whom he does not expect repayment. 30. For despoiling sexual purity, he should pursue peace. 30 with the brackets for the rectification of despoiling sexual purity, literally covenant, he should pursue peace. 31 through strife, one comes to despoiling sexual purity, literally covenant. 32 despoiling, literally the covenant. 32 promiscuous thoughts come as a result of the breaking of the vessel of kindness, and according to the abundance of, in brackets, fallen and in brackets, sparks, so is the abundance of the promiscuous thoughts. 33 one who transgresses the prohibition against homosexual relations, through this he is caught and incarcerated. One who transgresses the prohibition against homosexual relations, through this he is caught and incarcerated. 34 mercury is conducive for masculine potenance. Kesef Chai. Mercury is conducive for masculine potence. 35 one who has relations with his wife in a time of hatred, the children born make themselves apostates. 36 through promiscuity, one becomes exiled under the hand of frivolous governors and becomes in debt. 37 in the merit that the women guard against promiscuity, the Mashiach will come. Also, a person will not be dependent on his fellow, and the honor of the tzaddikim is aggrandized. 38 promiscuity comes as a result of involvement with names of the impure and witchcraft. 39 one who has relations with a non-Jew, literally a kusis, channels all the bounty to the other side, to the other, in brackets, impure side. 40 through promiscuity comes forgetfulness. 41 a repair for releasing seed in waste, that he should make efforts to bring people back in repentance. 42 one who guards sexual purity, literally the covenant, even if he does not have ancestral merit, the Holy One, blessed is he, grants him merit. 43 through inadequate faith comes promiscuous thoughts. 44 through the sin of witchcraft and promiscuity, the tzaddik passes away. 45 the offspring of sexual offenders will become in need of witchcraft. 46 offspring born through witchcraft will be promiscuous. 47 sexual offenders for the most part oppose the righteous. 48 one who omits his seed in vain, it is as if he brings his children as a sacrifice to idol worship, and also he is judged by stoning. 49 through promiscuity one destroys the memory. 50 through promiscuity sense of shame departs. 51 through overeating one comes to promiscuity. 52 when a man commits a sin, afterwards he is pained due to the spark within him, but when a man violates his sexual purity, he is not pained afterwards, for the spark has already left him. 52 with brackets when a man commits a sin, afterwards he is pained due to the spark of holiness within him, but when a man violates his sexual purity, literally covenant, he is not pained afterwards, for the spark has already left him. 53 one who does not despoil his sexual purity, literally covenant, sexual covenant, through this he has memory. 54 promiscuous thoughts come as a result of false oaths. 55 someone who serves as a guarantor for a wicked person becomes promiscuous. 56 one who destroys his path, through this the wallet is penniless. One who destroys his path, in brackets seed, through this the wallet is penniless. 57 through sexual immorality comes murder. Second part of promiscuity, niyat 1 through promiscuity one falls into incarceration or to the sickness of feet pains. Also, a student who has not achieved level of instructor and rules suffers this fate. Also, destructive spirits dominate him. 1 with brackets through promiscuity one falls into incarceration or to the sickness of feet pains. Also, a student who has not achieved the level of instructor in Jewish law and even still goes ahead and rules suffers this fate. Also, destructive spirits dominate him. 2 through discord one falls into sexual lust. 3. Through sexual relations on days that relations are forbidden. Through this one falls into imprisonment. Imprisonment. 4. Through sexual lust comes constipation, and from constipation comes leprosy. 5. Through favors one does for others, sexual lust is annulled, and so the opposite. 6. Guarding sexual purity, literally the covenant is the source of the blessings. 7. All who guard their sexual purity, literally covenant, merit understanding the 70 languages that are hidden in the Torah. 8. It is forbidden to judge favorably one who has transgressed with homosexual relations. 6. Parnasa, livelihood, is according to the marital match. 9. Parnasa, livelihood, is according to the marital match. 10. An unoccupied man who is not involved in any occupation, through this his sexual desire abounds, and he constantly speaks filthy words. 11. Someone who guards his sexual purity, literally covenant, is permitted to rejoice when he sees the fall of his enemies. 12. Danger on the roads comes as a result of sexual impurity, literally violation of the covenant. A hint for this from the Torah is, my going and resting, you have encompassed, resting, lying down. My going and resting, you have encompassed, etc. 13. A woman who is accosted for illicit relations, even if she did not actually have relations, the request itself leaves an impression upon her. 14. One who shuts his eyes to avoid seeing evil. One who shuts his eyes to avoid seeing evil, through this he is saved from humiliations. 15. Through forbidden sexual relations comes murder. 16. Through sexual relations with non-Jews, literally the nations, comes apostasy. 17. One who self-appoints himself to a position of authority, through this his daughter becomes a prostitute, God forbid. 18. Accountants, for the most part, are full of promiscuous lust. Accountants, for the most part, are full of promiscuous lusts. 19. One who does not look upon women merits that his descendants will compile commentaries on the Torah. Menstrual impurity, nido. Menstrual impurity, nido. 1. A woman who bleeds abundantly is an excessive talker. She should not beautify herself in people's eyes. Also, she should wash in spring water. Also, she should not exert herself excessively. Also, her husband should be careful with ritual hand washing. Also, she should not get angry. Also, after her immersion, she should give charity. Also, her husband should learn the tractate Ida, menstrual impurity, and afterwards recite the song for the day. Every day of the week has a different psalm. Also, she should wash herself. Also, she should wash herself with things that can be raised from nets in the river. Also, she should drink goat's milk. Also, she should wash herself using goat feathers and smoke herself in frankincense. Nachmon Yuan 2. A woman who is oozing blood should write the letters Loi Echod, not one, and carry it on her. 3. A woman who is immodest, through this she does not have a set time for her period and bleeds abundantly. 4. A woman in her time of impurity who saw blood by chance, it is because of a sin of the husband. A woman in her time of impurity who saw blood by chance, it is because of a sin of the husband. Second part of Nida, menstrual impurity. 1. A woman who does not have a period should fast. 2. A skula, it's conducive to restore to a woman her period, is through hospitality. 3. One whose business and dealings are with the non-Jewish nations at the time of their festivals, or even not at that time, but he derives an income from supplying them with articles to be used for their idol worship. Through this, his wife bleeds immediately following her immersion. falling, chapter falling, nefilo. 1. Sometimes a man falls from his level in his old age. 2. Through collecting taxes, a man falls from his level. 3. Through jealousy, one falls from his level. 4. Due to jealousy, a person does not have consistency. Sometimes he prays with enthusiasm and learns with diligence, and other times the prayer and learning are a burden to him. 5. One who blunders in his speech, and certainly one who blunders in his speech, in brackets, stammers, end of brackets, and certainly one needs a fluent tongue for everything he needs to express, but one who, in brackets, nevertheless, end of brackets, blunders in his speech, it is certain that his livelihood has been curtailed, and he is in need of great kindness and salvation, that the Holy One, blessed be He, should grant him his livelihood. 5, with brackets, one who blunders in his speech, stammers, and certainly one needs a fluent tongue for everything he needs to express, but one who nevertheless blunders in his speech, it is certain that his livelihood has been curtailed, and he is in need of great kindness and salvation, that the Holy One, blessed be He, should grant him his livelihood. 6. By an oath, a person's longings can be recognized. 6, with brackets, by taking an oath, a person's longings can be recognized. Alternate version, his longings are cut off. By taking an oath, a person's his longings are cut off. Both versions are correct, however, only one justifies this dictum to be categorized here under the entry of falling. By taking an oath, his longings are cut off. 7. When a man slips and falls, this is because he had strengthened himself to commit a sin. 8. When you begin doing a mitzvah, and the beginning is with all your heart, you will be successful in fulfilling this mitzvah, and no harm will come to you. 9. One who falls from his awe of God, it is certain that his awe was not pure. 10. A person falls due to desire for money. 11. If you guard yourself from thievery and from oaths and from falsehood, you will not fall from your level. If you guard yourself from thievery and from oaths and from falsehood, you will not fall from your level. 12. When a man prays in a minyan, which includes wicked people, they sometimes cast him down. A skula, to be protected for this, is to raise one's hands up during prayer. 13. One whose heart falls from its enthusiasm, it is because he hates the tzaddik. 14. The tzaddik who rules the world with truth will not fall from his importance. 14 with brackets. The tzaddik who rules the world in truth will not fall from his importance. Either with truth, rules the world with truth, or rules the world in truth, will not fall from his importance. 15. One who flees from honor and the honor pursues him will certainly not descend from nor fall in prestige. One who flees from honor and the honor pursues him will certainly not descend from nor fall in prestige. 16. Through attachment to tzaddikim, one will not fall from one's level. Second part of nefilo, falling. 1. One who is going and falls should know that his guardian angels have deserted him. With brackets, one who is going, walking, and falls should know that his guardian angels have deserted him. 2. One who has a thought of having relations with a Gentile woman, it is certain that he will have some sort of fall. 3. Or some sickness will come upon his wife and children. Chapter Foul Language, Nibble Peh. 1. Someone who speaks foul language. It is certain that in his heart he thinks thoughts of sin. 2. Through foul language comes adulation. 3. From the sin of foul language, troubles and decrees are renewed. And the young men of Israel die, God forbid, and orphans and widows cry out and are not answered. 3. With the brackets, from the sin of foul language, troubles and evil decrees are renewed. And the young men of Israel die, God forbid, and orphans and widows cry out and are not answered. 4. One who defiles his speech, even if they have sealed for him a decree of 70 years for good, they reverse it to bad. Also, they deepen hell for him. This applies to one who hears and remains silent. In brackets, this also applies to one who hears such speech and remains silent. This also applies to one who hears such speech and remains silent. 5. More stringent is one who speaks verbally than the one who performs an action. More stringent is one who speaks verbally than the one who performs an action. More stringent is one who speaks verbally than the one who performs an action. Chapter Benefit from Others, Nana Me'achedim. 1. When a tzaddik accepts money from a wicked person, even if the money is possibly stolen, it is permitted for the tzaddik to accept it so that the wicked one will not take on some wicked Torah scholar claiming that the scholar is a tzaddik, giving him the money, and he will oppose the true tzaddik. 2. Since the proliferation of those who accept gifts, days have become diminished and years shortened. 3. A person who you received benefit from one time, do not humiliate him. 4. One who weighs his clout on the Jewish people ends up being needy of others. One who weighs his clout, his yoke, one who weighs his clout on the Jewish people ends up being needy of others. 5. One who does favors for others is permitted to benefit from them, and they ought to serve him. One who does favors for others is permitted to benefit from them, and they ought to serve him. 6. Through the benefit you receive from your fellow man, through this you suffer pain due to his sins. 7. One who does not accept money from others will raise all his seed, raise all his children. Brackets, 7 in brackets. One who does not accept money from others will raise all his seed. The Hebrew word for raise or bring up can also mean will make great. Raise all his children. 8. The king funds his expenditures from the people. 9. 8. The king funds his expenditures from the people. 9. One must be involved in some form of business in order that ultimately he will not need arrest the study of Torah. Annul. 9. Again with brackets, one must be involved in some form of business in order that ultimately he will not need arrest, annul, be mavatal, the study of literally words of Torah. 10. One who asks for his portion verbally is as if he had stolen. 11. One who is reliant. 10 again. One who asks for his portion verbally is as if he had stolen. 11. One who is reliant on his friend's table, his world is darkened, and his life is not considered life. 12. One who has an neshama, third level of the Jewish soul, is able to enjoy from smell. One who has a neshama, third level of the Jewish soul, is able to enjoy from smell. Second part of Nana Me'achedim, benefit from others. 1. Great is the work of one's own hands, for it saves a man from killing. With brackets, great is the benefit from the work of one's own hands, for it saves a man from killing. 2. One who hates gifts does not fear from false accusations. 2. With brackets, one who hates accepting gifts does not fear from false accusations. Chapter Negina, music, second part. 1. When tzaddikim are publicized in the world, through this, new melodies are brought into the world. 2. The Levim had a special melody designated for each day, but now, in the exile, the melodies have been forgotten. When some tragedy comes upon some nation, the melody of the Levim corresponding to that crisis is aroused, literally sparks or glistens. When some tragedy comes upon some nation, the melody of the Levim corresponding to that crisis is aroused, literally sparks or glistens. 3. Through the melodies that contain a tone of crying, it is possible to release the captives. The aspect of he brings out prisoners bakoishoros, in brackets, in a kosher, propitious time. Translators note, the word bakoishoros is split into two words by the Medrash. Bechi meaning crying, shirois. Bechi, shirois, meaning bechi meaning crying, shirois meaning song. Song with a crying tone. 4. Through song, a person can be discerned if he accepted upon himself the yoke of Torah. 5. That which a person, when he drinks, begins to sing and to make melody, in brackets music, and in brackets, which is not so when he eats. This is because they, in brackets, the Jews in the desert, and in brackets, expressed shira, brackets, song of praise and gratitude to God, and in brackets, over the well and not over the manna. That which a person when he drinks begins to sing and make melody, music, which is not so when he eats. This is because they, the Jews in the desert, expressed a shira, song of praise and gratitude to God, over the well. This is because they, the Jews in the desert, expressed shira, song of praise and gratitude to God, over the well, and not over the manna. Chapter Nisayon, test. Second part. 1. A test is to bring greatness and fame to a man. 2. One who is not on the hierarchy of righteousness, and also does not have ancestral merit, and wants to draw people to the service of the blessed God, he should guard himself from tests, and especially not to arouse the jealousy of the wicked. 2 with brackets, one who is not on the hierarchy of righteousness and also does not have ancestral merit and nevertheless wants to draw people to the service of the blessed God, he should guard himself from tests and especially guard himself so as not to arouse the jealousy of the wicked. 3. One who is master over his desires. His children will not go off in bad ways, and through this his wealth is blessed, and through this he will not come to be tested. Chapter Ner Tamid, memorial, literally constant light. Second part. 1. In the merit of memorial, literally constant lights that burn on olive oil, there is salvation from losing the Jewish faith. There is salvation from losing the Jewish faith, or there is salvation from decrees of losing and going away from the Jewish faith. This is sefer hamidos, the book of traits, letter Nin, chapters Nif, Nido, Nefilo, Nivel Peh, Nana Me'achedim, Negino, Nisayon, Ne'atumid. Nif, sexual immorality. Nido, menstrual impurity. Nefilo, falling. Nivel Peh, foul language. Nana Me'achedim, benefit from others. Negina, music. Nisayon, test. Ne'atumid, memorial, literally constant light. Nachmo, Nachmo, Miyuman.